Anyway, so as you're pulling up, and as you get to the base of the hill, and it's just like that. It's like wooded forest area up on the steep hillside that leads up to this massive castle that sits on the hillside. And you see about a half a dozen soldiers waiting for you at the baseline, and there is a limo sitting there right behind the soldiers as your cars pull up. And you're driven up, you all get out, and the fellow comes out from the limo and says, "Ah, welcome. You have finally made it. I hope you had a good journey and enjoyed the countryside of Brasovia. From this point forward, and at this moment, just as he's in the middle of delivering this little talk, two guys come running out of the woods with signs that you can read that say, 'No foreigners.'"
Oh no.
And they start to throw rocks at you guys.
The people are angry, just like me. They do not want this castle to go into a foreigner's hands. I will work hard. I will win this game, not for myself, but for the people of Brasovia, for my comrades.
And
This is where I will come into play. I'll raise my hands and yell out in Russian, "Is okay, comrades! Is okay!"
traitor!
No, comrades! Comrades! It's okay. I will win the castle for Brasovia.
You do not get to finish your sentence,
all right.
because as soon as you are halfway done, three of the soldiers turn around and start to fire.
Oh jeez.
Ooh.
Like are they wielding like lethal guns?
It seems like it.
Oh jeez.
And they fire at these people, and in the first round, it looks like they don't hit them, but these guys like dodge like into the tree line because they're just at the tree line. And you see like the three of the soldiers start to they after the first volley they run towards these two.
I yell at the soldiers, "Are you mad? The enemies aren't," in Russian of course, so they can't understand.
And
The enemies, they aren't the enemies, the foreigners are!
just angrily yelling in Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see the soldiers like run towards the tree line, and it doesn't take very long. They like you see them try to disappear in there, and you hear what sounds like grunting and the like thudding of like guns being hitting against people's heads.
I gotta stop this.
Oh my
I'm gonna
gosh.
walk up to it.
All right. No. It is all taken care of. Please. We must get to the castle. This is not a matter of...
Did he say it in Russian or did he say it in English?
He
Because I'll respond.
This guy is speaking in English now to you guys. That, no, you need to come. You need to come quickly.
Like,
and he
dude,
tries to get into the limo. Please.
They told you this shit was fake.
This is nothing.
They're
This
just
is
good
nothing.
at what they do.
It is nothing. It's always protesters. They are what? How
What
we
did
say?
you do to those people?
Oh no. They are what? How do you say? Bad egg, bad element.
This is the first task.
Karlov, you gotta do something.
They're using
probably
guns
killing
on their
those
own
guys
people.
right now.
I walk over.
I don't think this
No.
is real.
You
Wait,
must
wait.
get and a soldier comes
think this is
and
part of the
Doris
show?
is like, please.
The whole show is about fake killing people.
And
I think this is just
very
part of the
forcibly tries to make sure that you get into the limo and do not engage.
I say to the soldier in Russian, "Please, make sure our fellow Brasovians get the aid that they need."
He does not respond. he is stone faced, and he basically like makes sure that you get into the limo. Please, everything is okay. There's always how people do not like how do you say advancement, progress.
Travel was pretty good. We rode in some cars. The scenery was nice. And then when we got there, a bunch of people came out and started protesting, and they got gunned down. And I don't totally believe that was fake.
That was awesome. Like I can't even. They're pulling out all the stops for this thing. It's almost like they're trying to blur the line between what's real and what's not.
Brasovian military. Brilliant. Excellent soldiers. But perhaps a little trigger happy. If only I could talk to them, perhaps save those comrades of ours. They need to realize We cannot win through sheer force. We cannot win through protest. We must win by playing the game and winning it.
So
So they're putting us back in the limos for protection?
no, this is the one big limo that's like
We're
sitting
from
at the base
cars
of.
into the
yeah.
limo.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
geez.
waiting for you.
We're all
into
going in
the
there?
limo.
Yes, all 9 of you will fit. This is a big limo in the back. There's like brandy and crystal glasses and stuff like that. It's like a party limo. There's room for 12 people back here.
As I get into the limo, I will point at the soldier who I told to help the other Brasovians and say, "I will remember your face." In Russian, of course, and then step inside.
I make sure to crack.
Oh, we have champagne!
Yeah, I make sure to get some champagne.
Yes.
I'd drink
Yeah.
some
Oh yeah, I'll
brandy.
take some champagne.
Yeah.
I need some after seeing that.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's brandy.
It's brandy.
Brandy.
I will have brandy. Yeah.
Writer's
I am
drink of
much
choice.
I'm happy.
Yes.
This is
So
better.
anyone who wishes to drink may drink.
Yes.
Heinrich does not drink. Abby does not drink.
There's gin or CJ.
CJ is definitely drinking.
Oh.
He's a college kid.
Is,
Maybe it's a bad idea for us to drink.
I'm drinking.
I'm drinking it.
It feels
also
like
drinks.
all the NPCs.
Yeah, I won't drink.
Yeah, I definitely drink.
All right.
You never drink on
But
set.
now that everyone's here, I'm just gonna say, is everyone enjoying the Brasovian countryside? Is beautiful? No.
No.
Mm.
Heinrich
This-
is like no.
I mean, this place is pretty good.
The castle's pretty.
Rampant
Yeah.
imperialism is
Yeah.
pretty great.
Yeah, I can't say I approve of whatever that was out there.
Yeah.
Is there
Be
is there
that
something wrong with your country,
pretty-
Karlov?
No. Oh, yes.
All right. Well, at least he admits
Yes.
it. That's a good public official.
There is reason I'm in this.
What would that be? I think everybody's really curious to hear that.
So I can win, become baron, and better Brasovia.
Oh, now see, that's noble, right? That's noble.
Is that what your driver thought too?
From the first moment that news got out in your country that this whole thing was happening, there has been an increasingly large grassroots campaign against this entire thing. Like generally the people of Brasovia think that this is
Oh, yeah.
a travesty that is ruining the country,
Right.
and the worst thing that could possibly happen is some foreigner gets a title and the voting rights in Brasovia, and they think that this is the beginning of the end. This is like the European, because this is not what happens in the West, taking away their native land. And
Well, why wouldn't whoever wins the castle just use their vote to better Brasovia since they live there then?
because this is not what happens in the West. The West comes, they sell things, they will turn this into
Oh.
Disney Brasovia, and it will
No, I would definitely try to bet
Oh.
Brasovia.
Not only that, the vast majority of the locality, the people that live here,
Keep going.
believe that if this actually works out the way these Western production companies want it to work out, that the cost of living will like quadruple and there will be mass starvation. Like this will bring tourism, this will bring wealth and technology, and the average Brasovian person will just become homeless, like people that have like nothing. They won't be able to feed their children. They won't be able to buy homes. Companies will come in like
I mean,
tear down
can
their
they
farms
can they
and build
currently
walls.
feed their children?
They are not they
Do
are
they
not
currently have
they are
good homes?
struggling, no, but they are at least not starving. They,
But at
they
least they're
believe that
free.
I turned to
Are they?
I turned the car off and I'm like,
Being
Carl,
shot
dude,
for
I don't know if you
protest?
knew, but I have a bachelor's in economics. I think that if I were to run this show, you know, I think I could turn things around too. Like,
Are you saying you could flip the country?
I'm saying that I can't come up with anything clever to say, but I'm like, yeah, totally.
Brasovia brought to you by Coca-Cola.
I mean, I get
Cue by Coke.
people not wanting others to come into their country. That makes sense to me. But I mean, this castle has such a monumental cultural significance to America. I don't know if I can let it go.
I see that American stereotype lives up to name.
What are you talking about? What stereotype?
Partying hard and going down, fucking living it up.
Oh yeah, I guess that's right.
As the limo pulls up to the front, this is a very typical,
The American
what you sort of
stereotype
expect. It
of being
pulls
a
around this
douchebag.
giant cobblestone rotunda. There is a fountain that is in the center. The fountain is not on. In fact, it looks like it's kind of like vined over, and there are 3 people standing in front of the castle in what you can only imagine as being excessively traditional butler garb. There is a older man who is wearing a very traditional black and white outfit. He's very stalwart. He looks like Lurch from the Addams Family. Like he's tall and gaunt and everything like that. Next to him is an older matronly woman with a little bun, and she's got the little like hair with the lace and the little pin there. And there's a younger girl standing next to her, and they are just standing very straight and waiting for the limo to pull up. And as the limo pulls up, the young man who's driving comes out of the car, comes around to the other side, opens the door, and immediately runs over to the line and stands there next to the older fellow. And waits for all of you guys to come out of the car.
Oh, step up.
This
Step
must
out.
be the crew that comes with the castle.
Yes, and as you get there, you can, as you come out, you notice that there are actually like big towers that have been set up with cameras that are facing you and the castle on the outside. They're like these long boom camera things, and there's a couple guys standing out there in the brushes, and they're trying to be obscured and not being obvious, but it's very clear that there are people filming at this point. Welcome to Castle Gram. I am Ruslan, the master of the house. Once you enter the castle, as you know, according to the rules, you will not be allowed to leave until you are either killed or the show ends. The show is intended to last for 30 days. If there are more than one survivor at the end of the 30 days, the game will go to sudden death, as it were. This,
Question: what exactly does sudden death entail?
that shall be made known to you should it become necessary.
Oh, all right.
What if no one survives before 30 days?
Then
The last survivor will be the winner.
okay.
If it does not last for the full 30 days, then it shall be simply more inexpensive for the production company and the crew. Allow me to introduce Ms. Orley. She is the mistress of the kitchens. Your meals will be handled every evening by her and the young Benny. If you have any need for anything that is domestic, she will handle these things for you. Your breakfasts and your lunches are your own. We have a fully stocked kitchen. If you should have any questions, they may be addressed to Miss Orley or to myself.
Sorry, what was the other girl's name that's with her?
Benny, B-E-N-I.
Okay.
Wait, how old is she?
Benny looks like she might be anywhere from 15 to 19, depending on how much nutrition you think she might have had.
She's young Betty.
Miss Orley looks like she's probably in her 40s. Ruslan looks like he may be at least 50 or could be 90 and well preserved, depending on like how long you think he's been around.
Okay.
90s.
Got my thoughts.
And Jeremiah here will handle any heavy lifting, as it were, that might be necessary. We will be the only individuals other than the 9 of you who will be in the house during production. So if there are any questions, you will direct them to us.
I have a question.
Yes.
Were you here when The Drifters was filmed?
Yes, I was.
What was it like being, in that space with the...
It was perhaps the worst time that I have ever experienced since the Soviet occupation.
Wait, why?
Does that make this the second worst time?
The
No comment?
let me just say that
You haven't gotten in the door yet.
it is
Making friends.
Yeah. I will simply say they had no respect for tradition.
Ah.
Now,
I wonder if we'll do better in the game if we
if there are no other questions,
My character
If you are
is
ready,
so disrespectful.
once you have entered the castle, the door shall be locked behind you,
You
and
will
the
be.
game will begin. Is there anyone who has any questions or will wish to withdraw at this time?
Oh, one more. Are there any secret passages within the castle?
There are many passages in the castle. The castle is very old.
Dude, if they
Nice.
told
Freddy,
you,
that's
it
a
wouldn't be
given.
a secret.
Come on, haven't you seen Scooby Doo?
I don't know. I mean, it's. I figured they could help
It's
us
no
out.
fun to know.
The castle was built over the course of 150 years.
Oh,
It
there's.
was a fortress before it became
Yeah.
the home for the
Oh,
Archduke.
Oh yeah.
Dungeons and everything.
I could do that in like a week.
Also, the servants' quarters are in the lower level. Unless you have any specific needs, you should never enter the lower levels. We live there, and we appreciate our privacy. Otherwise, you have full reign of the rest of the.
Well, okay, so I have
So-
I have a question, which I don't need to act it out, but like, how many levels are to the castle?
The castle itself?
Yeah.
The castle itself has 5 technical floors,
Okay.
but it isn't built in a way that is like clearly 5 floors. Like it looks like what had happened was that it was built originally as a fortress of some kind,
Uh-huh.
and then over the course of the 150 years that it was being expanded into a castle, they built more parts to it.
Mhm.
So while it technically has 5 floors technically, there are certain towers that are much taller.
Okay.
There are like some people said, "Oh, we should have a bell tower here," and they
Oh,
like
yeah.
added a couple floors and put a bell tower up there. So there are 5 actual floors of building. The first 2 floors though are also kind of like half floors because in those days they built a lot of these like really giant floors that had just like a landing with some rooms on it. And so the first and second floors are kind of like all kind of crunched together as a singular thing.
So the lower level, is that technically like the first floor, or is that lower? Is that like a kind of...
It's
Basement.
There's
it's
a
kind
first
of
floor and a
built-
basement?
Yeah, the basement
So-
is kind of built into the side of this
Okay.
hill. So the lowest floor has like those windows that are near the top where you can like look out onto like where the ground level is, and then everything else on the western facing side looks out onto like Brasovia, and in a lot of the rooms in the back of the castle, it's just like the mountain.
Okay, so we have like access to 5 floors, and the lower level's not one of those 5.
Right,
Okay,
exactly.
okay.
Is there like a bell
Good to know.
system
That's good.
throughout the castle so that we can like talk to them?
Yes,
And
there. So once you enter, you will. This will all be explained.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool.
I walk in.
All right.
I'm ready.
Mhm.
I'm
All right,
ready,
you're
man.
all escorted
No
into
fear.
the foyer. The doors close behind you, and you hear a ominous thundering noise as the door is locked.
Is Jeremiah in here with us, you said?
Yes, all 4 of them enter with you.
What does he do?
Probably not-
Jeremiah
move
is
stuff?
basically both of the elderly folk look like they're like the bosses here,
Uh-huh.
and they each have a young assistant.
Oh,
Jeremiah is
okay,
the
okay.
driver, and he's like the boy
he's
who
the
helps you
driver.
guys like with luggage if you need it, or is like, oh, I can't reach the cup on the top cupboard. Although Jeremiah doesn't look like he
Does
can
it
reach the
look
cup
like
on
I
the top
could take him
cupboard.
in a fight?
Yeah.
Or is he like ripped?
No, well, it's hard to tell. He's wearing his whole like weird outfit with the hat that looks like he's supposed to be a driver.
Okay, I could definitely
Right.
take him then.
Yeah. He looks like he might be 20. Like, he definitely looks older than Benny, but
Yeah.
he's a skinny kid, you know.
Is Abigail still taking photos as we're being led into the castle?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Abby is very excited about
He
this.
doesn't stop.
She has to stop.
So, if you look on the table, there will be a manila envelope for each of you, and each one of you has a manila envelope that has your name on it. It's got a little sticky label on it, and in the envelope is basically a room number and a key and a letter. And basically, you are told that the rooms on the 3rd floor have been numbered. There are little brackets there, and they're all labeled like 301, 302. It's actually kind of like a hotel, and your rooms will lock. The key will allow you entry into your room. You may lock the door behind you and have privacy. Each of your rooms will have your own restroom that is just for your own use. And the kitchens are to my left, where the dining hall is as well. And the rest of the castle is for you to explore at your leisure. So the room assignments are in order. 301 goes to Knox. 302 goes to Karlov. 303 goes to Freddy.
Yes.
304 goes to Gloria.
Number 1.
305 goes to Kevin. 306 goes to Heinrich. 307 goes to Jin. 308 goes to Abigail. And 309 goes to CJ.
Do we need to remember these, or can we just say, I want to go to blank square?
You can go to your... Yes, you can. Although later on it might have some meaning. The other thing
You
that's
have them?
important
I guess I'll
is
copy them.
that 302... or I'm sorry, 301, the first room,
Yes.
is a corner room on the northwestern corner of the castle. So you have like 2 facing windows.
That's cool. I like that, I
Yeah,
think.
all the other rooms are mostly uniform with windows on one side. So you have like one of those corner rooms that is a little weirder because it's got like adjacent windows on the side that may come up, that may not.
The sun is rising. Cthulhu is rising.
Yeah. It's like what's that over there? Wait, are there supposed to be 2
I'm gonna
suns?
close these blinds.
Yeah, we're just gonna ignore that.
Yeah.
Getting to the castle was interesting. I mean, I wanted to make sure that I was in a car, that I could talk to somebody. I talked to Knox. That's my boy. I talked to him. I wanted to make sure we were on the same page. Because, you know, shows like these, you gotta be in the loop with the right people. Make the right connections. It's gonna help you get to the end.